Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, KeegFam. Today, Trevor and I are working on the new family vehicle that sits in our garage. We just picked it up this week, and we're putting the new license plate on, and we broke the bolts off. So we are going to fix this, and I'm going to show you how that we do it. We're not going to say this is the best way. We're just going to say this is the way we do it. All right, Trevor, you ready to do this?
Yep.
We just did one. Now we have to do the other. So here we go. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grind off the old bolt. I use my little Dremel grinder for that. Alright, so our goal in that is just to get as much metal off as possible, so that now we're going to drill holes in it to get that out of there. We tried many things to try to get the screw out of there. It's just been in there forever. So this is a 2013 Highlander, and it's probably been in there since it was bought. So it's been in there a long time. So the next thing we're going to do is we're trying to find the center of this hole here. And the first thing I do, take a hammer and a punch with a point on it and try to find the center. And I'm gonna say that's the center. Today, it's about 12 degrees outside or so. Not quite sure, but I'm shaking because I'm so cold. All right.
Which bit did you use?
So we're going to use a really small drill bit first to try to get the center, because it's easier to get the center with a smaller bit than it is to try to get it with a bigger bit. So put it right where we put the point. Start with a small hole. And that's the first one. And then we're going to go to a little bit bigger bit, but not too big, to get the bolt, to get it a little bit bigger. This is all for centering, because we want to make sure we get the bolt out and not everything else. Drill the bolt off, I should say. And I've done this once before, and it turned out pretty good, so we're just doing it the same way again. And now we're going to actually use the size we need, which is a 6mm, which is a 5mm drill bit, which is the closest we have is a, what was it, Trevor?
3/16.
Oh, and I just dropped it on the floor. 3/16, which is a touch small. So we have to give it a little wiggle to get as big as we want. What was 3/16 was the same as what? 4.7mm?
I think so.
So this is what we're going to do. Look at that rust. I'm just going to give it a little wiggle. Take a little extra out. All right. Now we're going to put a little WD-40 in there. keep it. And then we went and bought a tap which is a 6mm tap for the 6mm screws we're going to use. And hopefully this fits nicely in there. All right, so you got some extra dust on there. I want this to be as clean as possible. Technically, there's probably supposed to be grease on here, and you guys can all correct me online when I do these dumb things, but I'm just going to lubricate it with WD-40 because that's all I have with me. And we put this in here slowly. Trevor, am I going straight?
Yeah.
The key is to keep this thing straight and tight. More grease on here. Sometimes I'm glad I don't do these things live. You don't just see the mistakes I make. Trevor, is it going in? We can't tell.
I don't know. I think it has gone in.
Seems like it's going in. We're glad we bought the handle for this thing instead of just using the... Thought about using a vice grips.
Oh, yeah.
This handle's working way better. Last time I had to do this, the car dealer we bought the car from actually gave me the bit, the tap, but he didn't give me a handle for it. Still seem like we're going in?
Yeah.
Seems like it's disappearing, so sometimes it just feels so loose.
Maybe
We're getting there. Oh, look at that. Now, do you have one of those screws, Trevor, we can try? And we bought stainless steel 6mm screws from the local hardware store.
I left the washer in there.
You take these in and out, you just gotta go straight. All right. Let's see if it goes in. Look at that.
Pretty good.
Looks perfect. Perfecto. Now, the thing we may have screwed up on is bought too long of screws, which I think I did on my last car too. We'll find out in a minute. Nope. Because if it's going to go in too short, or not going to go in far enough, see, you should have bought shorter ones.
Is that as far as it goes?
I don't want to strip it. Yes, that's as far as it goes.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what it's hitting there, but we should probably go back to the hardware store, get a little bit shorter screw, or we can use this one and it'll just hang on there like my other one does. We'll try in a minute, so let's do the other one. So far so good. Now we have to do the other tap. First let's clean this puppy off. Can you go blow that off with the air compressor, please? Doing stuff outside in the winter time is never as fun as the summertime. Clean that off again. Clean this off. Try to clean this out. And we'll stick this right in here. Good straight.
Right there.
And Trevor asked me, why don't you just stick this in the drill? Because if I stick this in the drill, it'll go in like a drill bit. And the threads won't have as much control. Like right now I'm putting pressure on it and holding it straight to make sure that it's moving forward. And if it wasn't, it would just be like a drill bit and just spin, which does no good for threading. I wonder if I put this in further, if that screw will go in further. Not sure why that screw don't go in further. It must be hitting something. I had the same problem on my car when I did my car. I'm not sure exactly why that is. But eventually it'll be easy here in a minute. Oh, that's my favorite spot when we're getting to the end. We'll see if we go a little further this time, if it screw will go further. Or at least we'll check to see if the screw is as long as this thing is. Because if this goes in that far, there's no reason why the screw shouldn't. Alright. We'll compare this to the screw in a minute. So we'll need the license plate, Trevor.
Did you hand? Okay, there's the screw.
We'll need the other screw, the license plate. We're just going to put the one in first since I already ruined one screw. You know, it's not new anymore. The other one we can return if it's, if you want to get a shorter one. Clean off all that junk.
Where did you put the plate when you rode?
It's in the glove compartment.
Okay. Just the washer.
Alright, so I was going to compare this to this. Now that went in all the way. So that screw should go in all the way. So let's try this one more time to make sure I've got it in all the way. Let's make sure we got it in all the way. It's also a good way to make sure the threads are clean. And I really like that screw to go in all the way. Now we do have a washer. We do have these padded things that'll keep it out just a hair. But if this goes in all the way, the screw should go in all the way.
Looks like it's gonna go.
So I'm not sure why. Alright. Is this the same nut I used before that I scarred already?
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the other one if we're going to return it. I've already been to the hardware store twice today. One to go pick up this and the screws. And the second time was to go back because I don't have a 5mm drill bit. And they don't sell them either. So that's why we went with the, what was it, 32nds? What was the size?
3/16.
3/16. I just made up numbers. All right. Let's put in one side of the plate. Look how nicely that goes in there. See how putting it back through the second time really did help kind of get the metal out of there. So let's see if it tightens up this time. Oh, it's tightening a lot further this time. Look at that. That looks perfect. Why did I put a washer on there? Because, actually 2 reasons. One, I wanted to make sure that the whole hole was covered, and it looks like we didn't really need to do that. And the second one, if this one would happen to rust, and now we put stainless steel, she wouldn't have that problem. But for some reason we would have a little gap in there yet, and that would stick out further to be able to grab onto someday. So really, you don't need a washer on there. All right, let's see if this one goes in well. We may want to stick the tap back in this one like we did the other one, just to clean it out. And if I remember from my shop class, I think they told me to do that once upon a time. Just to get all the little crap out of there that may have gone in there when you put it in and taking it back out. So we'll do that in a minute. So it looks like putting it in once and then put it in the second time is the best way to do it, to get it cleaned out well and to get the screw to go in all the way. All right. What you think, Trevor?
I don't know.
Have you learned anything?
A little bit.
I would have never thought about doing this if the car dealer didn't give me one of these taps once upon a time on a different vehicle. But he didn't tell me how to do it. He just said, here's a tap, bring it back when you're done with it. I'm like, oh, I used one of those once in shop class, not since. Look how much easier that is if you put it through the second time. Look at that, 2 stainless steel screws, license plates on. The project is done. Now, what do we have to do? Clean up all this mess and put all your tools away. If you don't put all your tools away, as I tell my kids, you won't find them later when you need them. All right. Well, that's our how to put on a license plate with that broke off the screws. If you like it, subscribe. Please hit like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. We would love to see your subscription because it helps us make more videos. So thank you. See you next time.